it's 10 minutes. Usually it's like one like mono scene, real time. But if you want to, whatever you want to do, man, if you want to jump around or however you want to play it, it's just 10 minutes of fun. And then afterwards, I like to find out how people got into improv. So that's pretty much what the day is.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds
So
good. I
I'll
don't know
give
what
it,
the co-star is going to do, so.
I love it. I love it. We're on and we have, I'll give you the number we've got of suggestions, and then you just pick a number, and based on that, I'll tell you what that corresponds to, and that'll be our suggestion.
Okay.
We've got one. Okay, so pick a number, my friend, between pick a number 1 to 43.
Okay. I'll take 27.
All right, good old number 27. 2, 4, 6, 8. This is what everyone tunes in for, is watching me count. 10.
I love the counting. The counting is my favorite part.
It's my best work, dude. It's all downhill from here. 20, 22, 24, 26. This comes from Angela. Oh my God. Okay, so our suggestion is, let me crystallize this for you. Let me crystallize this for you. Thanks, Angela.
You know,
Yeah.
Charles,
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought me here.
Okay.
I've been wanting to go spelunking for a very long time. Very
Yeah.
long time.
I'm glad you said yes, and the schedules worked out. I mean, we've had a dickens of a time trying to get our schedules to work out.
Oh my God, it was driving me crazy. You know, I had that soccer match that I was supposed to be coaching. You know, it was delayed about 5 different times.
Don't get me started on that. First off, don't get me started on that league. That league, it's like, why even have a schedule if you're going to change it all the time?
I think that's crazy. You know, you want to make you know, the problem is they don't have anybody in that league that has any business experience. They need scheduling experience. You know what they need? They need someone who is a receptionist in that league to schedule those soccer games.
Wait, Dave. Yes. I'll do it. Yes. If I don't know if that's what you're asking, but I will definitely, I wanted to ask, but I will definitely fill that role.
You know, Charles,
my spreadsheets. I
you
love
know,
scribbling.
I know you do. I know you're like a master at Excel, and I really, really wanted to, you know, bring it up, but I was afraid you might be a little sensitive about it when you know, you had that really bad experience with the hockey league and trying to, you know, schedule over there. The puck hitting you in the side of the head, I know that threw you off. They were counting on you to doing some of that scorekeeping, and
You know, I tried. I even had them come to the hospital and talk to me about it. And it wasn't me, it was the doctor. The doctor said, you can't do this anymore. You need to be in intensive care. You need not to think about anything. You really need brain surgery. Like, all of that came from the doctor. I was ready to go with it.
I understand, but I got to tell you, Charles, when I came and visited you in the hospital, and I asked you, you know, what was the score of the game, you started randomly naming fruits, and
Yeah.
I felt like that was, you know, that was a sign that that puck may have really dislodged something there.
I was thinking of numbers, but what was coming out were fruits.
When you got to kiwi and then mango, I really was like, he's far gone. He's got, you know. Then you got to passion fruit, and I got a little nervous because you looked at me with that look in your eyes, you know, and
Well,
you know,
passion can mean so many things.
yes, yes, it can.
I mean, now that you brought it up again, I was like, wow, okay. But no,
Uh,
let me be clear, okay?
yes,
Let me crystallize this by putting it out there and agreeing to, in fact, here, I'm going to send you an email
okay.
where I am right now, I am in agreement. Oh, my screen is very bright. Are you still at Dave Rossini? Is that the best one? 67?
Dave Rossini 7932
Okay.
hashtag 11. That's the best one to get me.
Hashtag, hashtag the number 11 or hashtag 11 spelled out.
The number 11,
Okay.
11. Yeah.
All right.
Hashtag 11.
And I am.
I wanted to do the hashtag with the 11, but someone else had that address.
Oh, isn't that the worst?
Yeah.
So
Isn't it bad when you have such a simple one and then somebody else has the same one, and you gotta come up with some crazy kind of thing to make it work?
you got to come up a spin on it, right?
Yeah, a spin. Yeah, crazy. Question marks. All kinds of things.
All right. And okay, so I am sending this to you right now.
Okay.
I did get a new email address.
Yeah.
So it might go to your spam filter or check your junk folder.
Okay.
But mine is Kiwi Nation. So if you get an email from Kiwi Nation .7 spelled out 7
Yeah. Okay.
at tierneyconley.org. That's from
Kiwi Nation -7
yeah.
at
tierneyconley.org. That's mine. That's
Okay.
coming from me.
That gotcha. Okay, I gotcha.
This I got to tell you, this is pretty great because I wanted to talk to you about this anyway. I really wanted to go spelunking with you. That was the first thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, I don't think I can ask Dave to go because he's got his baby. And I'm glad you brought your baby in the Bjorn and your baby's with us. You don't let a baby slow you down, man.
No. The baby won't slow me down ever.
Baby goes with you.
Yeah, baby Bjorn is look, I mean, the baby Bjorn is attached, so.
I mean, look at that. It looks just like you.
Yes. Yeah, it does. And I can do some of the same expressions, like she just did one of those.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
God,
The interesting thing about baby Bjorn, there's a lot of looking left and right, there's a lot of this.
What it is.
And that, and that I don't know what she's looking at.
Well, I mean, man, that's a really good place to be because that you're looking that way too. It's like I wouldn't necessarily look left and right, but now the fact that she is.
Yeah, look, like I'm looking over there. See,
your whole life is about a change of perspective.
Exactly. If I look over here, see, no, she's no. Then we've got to do the looking up.
Right. I mean, you know what? She's got her own
She's
thing.
got her own thing. Now here's the thing I got to tell you about the name because she's baby Bjorn, but I really wanted to call her baby Bjork because that's like the
Icelandic pop princess. Of course, I know Bjork. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But in the hospital, they the nurse made a mistake. So now she's baby Bjorn.
But, she heard the wrong name.
Right. She heard the wrong because she didn't know Bjork. I've noticed that a lot of nurses, they don't know who Bjork is.
Well, that's an indictment. Let me crystallize this for you. That's an indictment on the medical profession. Okay.
Yes.
If you don't know the Icelandic pop princess Bjork, you don't have to know her whole discography, but you got to know who she is. She reinvented music.
Absolutely. That voice. Nobody had a voice like that before Bjork came out.
Nobody did.
No, it was unique, You
know how to control yourself. I would have lost it right then. I would have said, you look at me. This baby's name is Bjork. It's not Bjorn. And I'm not going to leave this hospital. But you're more, you're more accepting of that. You look at things as like, that's not, I shouldn't fight against it. I'm accepting it. And that's what I'm trying to do in my life right now, Dave. I'll be honest, is I'm trying to accept more and I just am not able to.
Well, Charles, I think that's the only way to go through life, is you got to accept things, I mean, look, you got over the puck injury, you got over that. So you had to accept that for a while, the fruit naming has stopped,
As far as I know.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't talked to you in a little while, I haven't asked you to, well, I've talked to you, but I haven't asked you to give me a list in a little while, you know.
All right, hit. You want to try it? Let's.
Sure, yeah, yeah.
Whatever comes up. Whatever comes up.
Right. Just make give me a list of your favorite movies throughout history. That's, you know.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. Well, this is strange. My favorite movie is Mystic Pizza. So it's falling into both categories. It's both a food and a movie. As I'm thinking about my favorite films, I like Meatballs with Bill Murray, but I'm like, I'm still on the food thing, or is that, but he's a funny guy and it's an underrated movie that he was in. And I was a camp counselor for 4 years. So that means something to me.
Right.
Mystic Pizza is Julia Roberts' breakout role. You know me, I think she's America's sweetheart. Oh my God, am I still on a list of food right now, Dave? Is that
Yeah, but look, you're saying the right thing though, because it's okay to have a crossover, Charles, because you didn't say you like Mystic Avocado.
right?
You didn't say you like Mystic String Bean. You know, you said Mystic Pizza, which is the name of the movie. You said Meatballs with Bill Murray, which that's the thing. You didn't say Spaceballs with Bill Murray, because that would have been a real bad crossover, because that's a completely different movie.
Rick Moranis was really, I mean, I love Rick Moranis.
Yeah. He's fantastic. But, you know, how about what about that one? I never saw it, but that Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
I saw the first and second one. Big fan of it. I think little baby Bjorn would love that. I think she'd be big into it. It's wonderful animation, a great story. Right, her head popped up, so I think that's something.
She listened because she heard, you know, anything with food she's interested in. You know, baby Bjorn is interested in anything with food.
Me too.
Food.
Me too.
So. Yeah, well, food is really great.
Food's life.
Food is life. Yes, food is life. Yes, I want to say it again so I can make it crystallize
crystallize it for me?
Crystal clear. Food is life.
Well, we can bring out our lunch here, or we can keep going into the cave. Your call. Which do you want to do?
Let's have lunch first.
Let's have lunch.
Let's have lunch.
See. Oh, how fun
that was so good.
The cat star of the show.
Oh, she stole it. She stole the show, right?
What's your cat's name?
This is Mystique.
Oh, like Mystique Pit. Look at that, right into the camera. Robert, she's looking right, like, look at that camera work. Right into the camera.
Yes. She loves the camera. She loves Zoom though, only Zoom. That's when she comes up here, only when I'm on Zoom, not when I'm doing regular
of course
Word documents or something like that. Only Zoom. She's got to be here.
Is she a pretty friendly cat? I mean, she seems pretty friendly.
Yes, she's very friendly with humans. She loves human beings. And, you know, if someone comes at the house, she'll come right up to them. She wants to be friends with everybody. Which is fantastic. She's not so great with other cats. We have 2 other cats, and there's a lot of scuffles. I think she wants to be the only one in the house.
We have 1 cat here. We used to have 2. They were sisters, and a friend of ours was looking to adopt a cat, and we were actually looking to adopt a dog. So it said, well, why don't we try and see how it works before we even get a dog? And both cats love it so much more because they're like running the place. It's them. Now once we got a dog, the dog loves dogs and cats. When their tails go up are different for some cats. For some dogs, it's always play.
Yeah.
My cats are like, I'm on defense. So the dog goes, oh, it's playtime. The cat's like, no, motherfucker. I'm scared of you. So the dog, they're getting used to each other right now is what's happening. But
good.
They're both, I mean, we're very, very lucky because they're both like in their own way, both are really wonderful. Now we just hope that eventually they'll be able to coexist in the same room. But I think they will.
Did you you may have said this, but did you get a puppy or did you get an older dog?
We rescued a dog at like 8 months, so still a puppy.
Oh, still okay.
So you know, the dog's like, everything's play. Everything goes in my mouth. And it's like, no, not we like playing, but the more we take her out, take her for a walk, give her things to do. She starts calming down because she needs that stimulation. Whereas the cat is not a kitty anymore. The cat's a little bit older. And I think that energy sometimes with other dogs, for our dog, the like older dogs who are like in their teen years or 10 or older are like, slow down, young pup. And our dog's just like energetic. But I think after a while, they'll find their energy together. At least that's my hope.
Yeah, that's good. That's good because we've thought of a similar thing. We have she's 5, I think. And
Yeah.
we have a 3-year-old and we have an 11-year-old.
What?
So yeah, the 11-year-old cat, and she's we were thinking about a dog too, but the 11-year-old took a long time to get like calm down and get acclimated. And she seems very happy, and we're afraid a dog will upset her.
Yes.
We think that the young one would like. See, the problem is the young one. He's big. It's a boy. He's big, and he likes to roughhouse, and she doesn't like that. So he attacks her a lot, and then she screams and she overreacts. She's a drama queen. She's like,
she even turned her butt to you when you were talking about her.
Yes. Jay, yesterday we were trying to clip her claws. So it's very hard to clip her claws. She hates it. So we got this thing, which is like a little bit of a torture device. Not really though. It's a bag that they sell. You put the cat in it and you can zip them up and then you can take out one claw at a time. And then you also cover their eyes because if they don't see, they're a little calmer, right? So it looks terrible. When we first heard about it, someone said, oh, it's like an S&M bondage outfit. That is kind of what it looks like. But we were having so much trouble clipping their claws and they were destroying things, scratching us. So we tried this and it worked. We tried it about a month ago and they generally calmed down. But that was a month ago. So that was the first time that this one had it. When we tried to do it yesterday, I swear to God, if someone was passing by, they would think we were tearing this cat to pieces. Yes. She was screaming and yowling and like, it was terrible. Terrible noises. The noises were like, it was like a horror movie.
We had to give a flea bath to these cats.
Oh.
And one of the cats sounded human, like human. And I was like, did one of my kids get chained somewhere in the bath? Like it sounded like a human being, like a small child was going, ow, ow, ow. And it was like 10 minutes of this. It did sound like a human being was getting tortured.
Yeah. It's scary. It's scary. Sometimes at night, in the middle of the night, you hear something and you're like, whoa, what's in the house? You're in bed, you're trying to sleep and then,
yes.
What the hell is that,
God, isn't it the best with animals? Our cat, the dog and cat woke up, the dog started barking, which it never happened. And it was when there was that earthquake, the recent one that was like 4 a.m. It woke both animals up and the dog barked. And we're like, what is the dog? The dog never barks. And it was like, oh my God, it barked because of the earthquake. Like it felt the earthquake and it was barking. And it's like, I was thinking, is it trying to alert us? Like, is that what the dog's doing? Is like, hey, there's something happening.
Yeah.
You really need to be up for this. We couldn't understand. It's like, why are you barking? Right. You've never barked in this house before. And it was because of the earthquake.
Wow. Yeah. These animals, that's one good thing though. They really are alarms because they're really sensitive to stuff. The cats too. Yeah. If there's going to be an earthquake, they like kind of know it.
They know
before it happens.
They know.
They're like, what the hell is that? The whole house is not supposed to move.
Yeah.
The chair can move, that table can move, but not the whole house.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Yeah.
How did you get into improv? What brought you in and had you take a class or do a show or whatever?
Well, just to go back all the way to, and this will be a quick intro, but I started studying acting in New York. I decided I wanted to be an actor and I was working there for, I started in like 85 and in 87 I had my first job.
And you are a professional actor as well. I should say that. It's like, that's what you do. So like this was back in New York. You decided you're going to take some, okay.
Right, exactly. But I didn't take improv there. I just wanted to say I started there as an actor. And then in 90, I decided I was doing non-union work and I couldn't get union work. So I decided to move to LA in 92 to get, so I could get into SAG. Oh, no, I was not in SAG. I'm sorry. I wanted to get into SAG.
Yeah.
I tried a couple of times in New York, didn't work. But to get to the Improv, so I came to LA in order to get into SAG. After I was in LA, I got into SAG within 6 weeks. I got a job in 6 weeks that got me into SAG when I moved to LA.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
So my first thing I auditioned for, and it was just an ad in Backstage that I auditioned for, and it was on a show. Just a real quick thing, and I'll get to the Improv. It was on a show called Hard Copy. Do you remember that show, Hard Copy? It was like a news magazine show.
Yeah.
Well, they were doing a profile on Elvis Presley, and it was a 4-episode profile. You know why I got this job? I look exactly like Bill Black, who is Elvis's original bass player. I look just like him. And, that's all they really want on these recreation shows.
Yes.
But that was enough to get me into SAG. So I got into SAG.
Wow. Isn't that crazy of like what jobs can get you there?
Yeah.
Where, like, I don't, and people talk about actors of like, why are they doing this gig or that? It's like, I'm doing it to get in the union or to keep up my union membership or to get insurance. Like, that's what working actors do.
Yeah, exactly. It was a little thing, but my line was, I only had one line in the show, but it was enough. And the line was, we're driving in a car and we hear our first hit song on the radio, and I go, "Hey Elvis, that's us," and that was my first line that got me into SAG. Hey Elvis, that's us. And I did it because I was from Memphis, so I thought I had to do a Southern accent.
Oh, great.
Yeah. But anyway, okay, so I did that. So I was in LA, pretty new to the town, didn't have any friends here really. And so I was looking for stuff to get involved with. And I don't know where I saw it, but they were auditioning for improv people at the Wild Side Theater, which used to be on Camarillo Street at the intersection of Lancashire.
Yeah.
A guy named Sam Longoria was running that Wild Side Theater, and he had these open auditions. The thing with improv is, though, even as I was studying in New York, I did improv occasionally in class, but I never really did comedy improv. So I was really looking for something to do, and I wanted to do things I never tried before. Right. So I went down, I auditioned at the Wild Side. I didn't know anything about improv at all, really, about doing improv comedy. And I auditioned, and Sam got me into his shows, and he put me on a team, and we rehearsed a few times, and then we started doing shows every Friday and Saturday night at the Wild Side.
What?
Yeah, just started doing shows after like a couple of weeks of rehearsing, they taught me all the games. I didn't know anything. And they taught me that Yes End, I never heard of that before. They taught me Yes End, everything. I didn't know any of this stuff, taught me it. And then we started doing shows. And I got to tell you, one of my memories is the first time, I was nervous. I didn't know what was going to happen. The first time I was on stage in front of the audience, I said something, and the audience burst into laughter, and I'm like, was that funny? Did I say something funny? It was amazing to me. That blew my mind, and that made me immediately fall in love with it. I'm like, I can like say anything, and somebody might think it's funny, So,
and that, to me, the perfect way to get into improv. I don't know anything about it. I'm going to take this. I'm going to go to this audition. Somebody's going to teach me some games. Now I'm going to go do it. Like, that is the way it should be done, is like, all right, now get out there. And then you never forget in an improv show. I feel like you never forget that first laugh where you say something and then you're just like it's unexpected. You weren't even planning to get a laugh. You're just like, I'm going to say this thing. And then you go, oh my God, that's what I want. I want people to react that way. I want them to laugh at this. And then you spend your life trying to find that first laugh again.
That's right. The advantage I had was because I didn't know anything about it, I wasn't nervous because, I wasn't nervous to try it because I didn't have any expectations about it, So it's not like if I was going to audition for Saturday Night Live or something, I would have been freaking out, But I didn't have any, I didn't know what to expect. So I just went and did it, and I fell in love with it, and I've been doing it ever since. And, and that was a great intro, because we were doing 2 shows a night, Saturday, Friday and Saturday for a year, 2 shows every weekend, sometimes more than 2. Sometimes I think he had 3 slots. Sometimes I would do the first slot at 7, the second slot at 8, and then the third slot at 9, or the late show,
What a
I would
great,
do
like,
2.
and you're doing it. That's how you get better too, is just repetition of doing.
Yeah.
Do it and do it and do it. And then you realize, oh, if that 7 o'clock show wasn't great, we got another one coming up right now. So
Yeah,
I gotta
exactly.
forget about that and try to keep moving forward. And then you're like, wow, that 8 o'clock show really killed. And you're like, and you learn it not to hold on to things too preciously, not to be
Right.
like this one show. And I think that idea of like this one show is going to make or break comes from a lot of people going into theaters where they have a limited amount of performance opportunity. And then it's like you do a bad show, you might get booted from that schedule then, versus like, no, you can't sit and think about that last show because we're getting ready to do another show in about 5 minutes.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. I mean, one of the hardest things as an actor is doing a one-night show, one night only.
Yes.
Because it's like, oh my God,
The worst.
if I don't get this right, that's it. It goes down in history as you screwed up the one-night show. What the hell? But you're right. But go ahead.
No, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, but you're absolutely I think the hard thing when you do start doing improv is to let go of that previous show.
Yeah.
Now I've gotten to a point. I've been doing it for over 30 years now. I'm pretty cool with that. But when I was younger, it was hard to let go of that. Oh, I should have said this, or I should have said that, or oh, this would have been a better thread to follow. But now I realize as I'm older and doing this a long time, there's nothing wrong in improv. Anything you do is good for that moment, and that's a much better way to look at it. But when you're younger, it's harder to look at it that way. So.
Well, shit, dude, we think what I should have done about everything in our lives, right? We spend our time going, I should have, not just like acting wise, improv wise. We think of it like with family, relationship. We're always thinking of that stuff. And the more we can say, well, what I did was good enough moving forward. Like I can't go into a time machine. And if I were able to go in a time machine, I'm certainly not going to go back and replay that improv scene. That's not going to be my use of the time machine, is I'm going to go back and replace. I'm going to go like, but we can't, we don't do that now. So you say, okay, can I just keep moving forward? Can I go, that was good enough? Nobody cares as much about that scene as I sometimes convince myself I should care about. Right. It's one of many, and the more you can do, and the same with, I mean, doesn't this apply to auditions where you're like, shit, man, I my whole job is auditioning. That one audition I can't hold on to dearly because I got another one coming up, and there's so many more I've got in my life.
Yes, it is the same thing. And again, when I was younger, I used to like if I had 2 auditions in one day, I might hang on to, I could have done that better. The thing is, you never know if you could have done it better because you don't know what they want, So that's the thing that as you're an actor, it's hard to get in your head because you're always self-critical. You're always thinking I could have done better, but you don't know what they're seeing, you don't know what they're looking for. And sometimes when you think you did a bad job, you actually nailed it in their eyes,
Yeah. So, I mean, you've had those jobs where you're like, well, that sucked. And then you get a call and you're like, that's what you wanted?
Yeah.
And being on, we've both been on the other side of the table too, where we're auditioning people and you go, oh shit. Sometimes the people behind the table don't know what they want. They tell you, but they don't know. They have no idea. They're like, we're looking for this type of person. You see somebody else get it. I mean, how many auditions have you been on where you read what they're looking for in the copy and then the final product, you're like, that's not at all what you asked for.
Right. Exactly. Oh, so many times. And a lot of times on commercial auditions, especially, they really are not sure what they're looking for. And you come in, I swear to God, I did this once. I came into an audition for a commercial and I improvised something. And I didn't get that commercial, but you know what? What I improvised was in that final spot when I saw it on TV.
Yes, and you're like, I'm getting zero writing credit. I'm getting zero for
Yeah.
being a writer. And that there was a time in the 90s in Chicago where they would have you improvise it and you would see that. And then
Yeah.
eventually the union was supposed to take care of it, but you get in the rooms and they go, loosen it up a bit, put it in your own words, put a button on the end, which is, to me, when I hear put a button on the end, I'm like, you don't have an out for this commercial.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I swear, another thing I think they do is once one actor does something that they like, I think they tell the next actors coming in to try that. You know?
100%,
Yeah,
100%. They're like,
yeah,
oh, we'll add that to our copy. And it's like,
yes,
oh,
exactly.
so like the more you could just go in, and that applies to improv too. It's like go in there and you got all these tools and you're like, I don't know, I think this would be fun. I always refer back to a friend of mine, Jamie Moyer, and it's like, Jamie, why did you do this move? And she's always like, I thought it'd be fun. Like, that's it. She's like,
Yeah,
I thought it'd be fun. I'm going to come in here. It may not be logical to the scene, but it doesn't matter. And you watch somebody like that and you're like, wow, she really, it
mhm,
seems like she knows what she's doing. It's like, no, she just wants to have as much fun as possible. And none of
yeah.
these scenes matter to her.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a great way to approach it, because yeah, I mean, the thing is, if you're having fun, the audience is going to have fun.
Yes.
So, and that's the way it is with, even if you watch movies with scripted acting, when you see a movie where the actors are loving what they're doing, like a good
Yeah.
example to me is the Avengers movies. Those guys look like they're having a ball
A ball.
playing those characters.
A
And
ball.
because of that, we love watching those characters. They're so fun to watch, you
Yeah.
know.
I used to get really bummed when, like, in SNL, people would laugh and break in a scene. And I'm like, why is everybody laughing? It's like, well, everybody's laughing in the audience because they're watching people have fun.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, sometimes when you're dealing with professional, funny people, they'll do things that crack you up. And you let go of that and you go, hey, audience, we're all on this ride together. And you watch somebody have fun. And it's not at the expense of the audience. It's like, no, come,
Yeah.
it's for you, but we're gonna have fun and enjoy this. And the same with any of those shows. It's like, oh man, those are the best ones to watch. You're watching
Yeah.
people. It's like those Ocean's 11 movies where you're
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's another one. That's a
they're
great
having so
example.
much fun.
Yeah. You can, the one with Matt Damon with the fake nose. You see some of
Yes,
that? I mean, he was relishing that gag of having that fake nose.
totally. And
Yeah.
that's, I tell people when I teach and I talk to people about improv or comedy or whatever, I go, my goal is Adam Sandler. I don't care what you think about him or his style of humor. That
Yeah.
doesn't matter. What matters is somebody's paying him a ton of money to play with his friends.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's all I want to do. I want somebody to pay for me to play with my friends, and the content, he puts out what he thinks is funny. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what other people think. He does the same, he does the thing, he does the
Yeah.
Jamie Moyer. I think this is going to be funny regardless of what critics say or anybody else says. He
Mhm.
puts that out there. And so that's what I'm striving for, is like, I want to surround myself with people who I like having fun and playing with, and then just have fun and try not to think about it after I'm done.
Yeah, no, that is great. That's the best thing to do, and it's invigorating.
Yeah.
When you've had fun, you just feel like $1,000,000.
Oh,
It's a great way to make yourself feel better, and then at the same time, you're making other people feel better. One of the reasons I always wanted to be an actor was I like to entertain people. I like to make people feel good. So it's
yes.
perfect for that.
And now you're also married to another
Yes,
improviser who is a brilliant actor and improviser as well. And
yes.
do you find that some of these same philosophies you've learned in improv come in handy in, like, just general relationship?
Oh yeah. Well, first of all, we crack each other up a lot,
Yeah.
because we come up. We're very like-minded, so we think of a lot of the same. It's Christine is my wife.
Yes.
We think of a lot of the same things that the Christine DiTillio. She doesn't have a Hollywood separate name, so just if you want to look her up, it's Christine DiTillio. Anyway, Christine, we have a very similar sense of comedy, and I think that's one of the reasons why we were attracted to each other right away. And in
Right.
fact, we met doing a scene. We were both in a theater group, and we were doing scene showcases, and we both met doing a scene. Well, we didn't meet doing the scene, but we first got to really know each other. We were doing a scene from A Fish Called Wanda,
Oh,
And she was playing Wanda, which happens to be her middle name, by the way. And
no.
I was of course Kevin Kline's character, you know.
Love
So
that movie. That movie is one of my all-time favorites.
yeah,
Hilarious.
it is great. It's so funny. You know, years later watching it again, it's still so funny, you know. So we met doing that scene, and we had a ball doing that scene, and we were very comfortable with each other comedically,
Wow.
you know. And then that's when I really got the idea that I should ask her out, you know.
Well, and it's what makes you both great improvisers in my book, because we've worked together a bunch. What makes you both great improvisers is you're good people, and you're people I want to hang out with outside of a scene. And that
Mhm.
goes, you know, you've been doing
Oh
this
yeah,
long enough to be like, man, the most fun is hanging out and getting to know people outside of just what do you do? What are you working on? What project are you doing? Where did you study? Like none of that stuff matters. What matters is, oh, I can hang out on a road trip with these people. Those are the people I want to be around.
exactly, exactly. And as you said, that's why a lot of groups, Adam Sandler and other people, they're always working with the same people
Totally.
because those are the people that are fun to work with, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sure George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and Matt Damon want to work together all the time, you
And
know.
that's it. And you're right. And it's like they find and I find the same thing. It's like, oh, I'm comfortable with you. We get along. You consistently deliver. It doesn't mean like you're always like 100% hilarious, but you understand what the group's about and you bring it. You have talent. That's about it. And I understand why people go, oh, I want to consistently and continually work with person X, Y, and Z is because
Yeah,
you have a chemistry, and it's all about ensemble. Our whole humans want to find that group together. And it's like, where is that ensemble? Where do I feel comfortable?
absolutely, absolutely. And I'm sure you know there's nothing like working on a project, whether it's a play or a movie, where you are working with a bunch of people that are fun to work with. You know,
The best.
that is the best. That's the best. Yeah.
Oh,
I
um,
did a. Oh, go
yeah.
ahead.
No. What you
No,
did?
I did a play back in '97 at the Group Repertory Theater in North Hollywood. It was called Crappie Talk. And it was a play by this guy, Phil Olson, who has gone on to become a very well-known playwright. He still plays, he's changed the name of Crappie Talk because he made a whole series of plays with the same characters. But anyway, we did Crappie Talk, and it was so successful, it was extended for 3 times, and we ran it for 3 months. And that cast of Crappie Talk was so much fun. We did the show. We did parties together. We played
Yeah.
poker together. You know, just a great group of people to hang out with, and we had a lot of fun doing that show. But that was my best theater experience of that type of working with a group that I just loved.
I mean, what a great confluence of like great material, great group of people, like
Yeah,
the meeting of those two. And you're like, oh man. And sometimes you don't realize when you're in it
yeah.
that you're like, wow, this is a really unique situation. And then you hopefully you stay in touch with those people and you work together, or at least just stay in communication with them from that point on. It's like, ah, you're somebody I want to still talk to and hang out with.
Yes, yes. Unfortunately, we did for a few years, but that was now 25 years ago or something. Yeah, I've lost touch with most of them, although I still am Facebook friends with the writer Phil, you know.
Zoom time, baby.
Yeah,
Zoom time.
yeah.
Where can people, if they want to connect with you, follow things you're doing,
Oh, yeah.
what's the
Well,
best way they can do that?
the best way is probably my Facebook page. I have a Facebook page, Robert DiTillio, actor in Los Angeles. That's my acting page. Or you can just follow me on Robert DiTillio, which is my personal page. That's the best place. And I update that all the time with stuff that I'm doing. Yeah, I think that's the best way. Yeah, because I don't use Twitter or Instagram as much. You know, I find Facebook real easy to use.
Dude, I love Facebook. I'm the
Yeah.
same way. It's like I got a Twitter, I've got an Instagram, I barely use them. And for me, it's like, it's easier. Just go on Facebook. That's where you can.
I also like working on a big screen. I don't like what is that is that who I think
Yeah,
is in there? Who is that in there, you
I
know?
can't see you. Uh, well, my friend, whether it's in person or virtual again, I can't wait to play with you. Thank you for taking time out. This is awesome. It's always a pleasure seeing you, buddy.
Oh, thanks, Jay. This was wonderful. I had a wonderful, excellent time. I loved it so much. It was so much fun. So much fun.
Give my love to Christine. We'll talk soon.
I will.
Bye, buddy.
Take care. Bye-bye.